Hello again, and welcome to the fourth segment, and maybe the second to the last of our series. And this tutorial now is a continuation of our previous tutorial, which involves registering our stake pool on the blockchain, and after which we configured our topology files in order for our relay node and our block producing node will be able to communicate with each other. And at the same time, so that our relay node will start registering itself to the network in order to be accepted by all the peers in the network. All right. So in this website, actually, where we end up our previous tutorial, I mentioned that there's a succeeding steps that you need to do in order for your relay node to be able to register itself in the network. So basically in this tutorial, we will just manually update our topology file so that we will be able to register our relay node a lot faster than if you just let your relay node do the registration automatically by itself. All right. So in this website, actually, there's a topology updated script presented here, which is a script running on Linux. So basically, this script is just running itself automatically so that the relay node will be able to submit itself to the network and get accepted immediately for at least 4 hours. So here is why we need to manually update our stake pool topology file, because once you have registered your stake pool to the blockchain, the relay node must be able to receive a list of peers in the network. If not, your stake pool will not be able to produce or receive block rewards, because the blocks that will be produced by your stake pool might get orphaned and will not be accepted by any of the peers in the network. All right. Now, currently, the relay node registers itself in the network every 12 hours or twice a day. And then it will only be accepted in the network after 4 times or at least 48 hours. So that's a long time to wait for your relay node to be fully registered in the network. So that is why they came up with this topology updater in Linux, so that instead of waiting for 48 hours, you can do this every hour for 4 hours in order for your relay node to be registered in the network. Okay? Now, for this tutorial, actually, I was supposed to come up with a Windows version of this script using JavaScript that I can simply run on a browser inside my relay node. But I decided not to do it and just teach you the manual way to do it, since we will just be doing this for 4 hours, and then after 4 hours, the script will no longer be used to register further. Okay, so here's the step-by-step guide on how we will manually register our relay node instead of relying with an automated script. Okay, so let's get started. But before we proceed, we are assuming that you already have configured your topology files in both your relay node and block producing node, and that they are already able to communicate with each other, and they have already synced the blockchain completely. All right? So the very first step we need to do is to find out what is the latest block number in the network. Using this command, let's go to our command prompt. Let's query the tip of the blockchain. So currently, the latest block is now 6814681. So let's copy that and paste it on our template, which we will need in our next step. All right? And then make sure you type your relay node IP address in our template and not our block producing node IP address. All right? So, and then of course the port number of our relay node. Okay? So this is the final URL that we need to access using our browser inside our relay node. So let's open Internet Explorer, copy the URL, and then you should get a result something like this. So you cannot access the URL using any browser outside your relay node because it requires your client IP address must match your IP address of your relay node. So if you open this URL in a different machine with different IP than your relay node, then you will receive an error message. So if you receive a message that's saying your IP has been registered, then it means you have submitted properly your IP address. All right? So that's just the first step. Now, you will need to do the step 1 to 3 over and over again every hour for 4 hours. All right? Every 60 minutes, you have to do it 4 times every 60 minutes. All right? Now, after 4 hours, you should receive a new welcoming message. If that happens, it means your relay node IP address has been registered already and included in the topology list of the network. All right? So once you receive a welcome message, that's the only time you can proceed with the next step. All right? So here we have another URL that we need to access. And this is now fetching the peers list in the network. So this time, you will need to put your block producing node IP address instead of your relay node. All right? And then, of course, the port number of your block producing node. Again, I repeat, this is the block producing IP and not your relay node's IP address. Okay? So for the sake of this example, let's put this value here. All right. Let's say you're using the same port number. Now you need to copy paste that in your browser once again. Okay. Then after that, you should receive a result similar to this one. You will be given the list of all the top 20 list of peers in the network. So all you have to do, copy the list, all right? Then open your topology files inside the configuration folder, which is the mainnet topology JSON file. And then paste the list, add the list in your topology file. That's it. So just save it, but after you have saved it, you will need to restart your node. All right? So you simply close the command prompt or press Control C in your keyboard to stop the batch file running. And then just rerun the batch file. So now that we have updated our topology file and added the list of peers that we extracted from the previous step, and that we already have restarted our relay node and it has completely resynced with the blockchain. So congratulations, your stake pool is now fully propagated in the network and is now ready to produce blocks and receive block rewards. But before we wrap up this tutorial and end this video, let me just share with you a couple of pointers. Because in the previous example or the previous tutorial, I forgot to mention the difference between the pledged amount of 500 tokens and the deposit amount of another 500 tokens. Therefore, we will be needing actually a total of 1,000 added tokens to complete our stake pool registration. So the first 500 which was deposited and was deducted from our payment address became a deposit for our stake pool. Okay, and the only way for us to be able to get it back is if we deregister or if we retire our stake pool. All right, and then the other 500 we need to deposit it again in order for us to meet the declared pledged amount in our configuration. All right, so in order for us to meet the pledge amount, we just need to deposit again at least another 500 tokens. All right, now once you start delegating your tokens to your stake pool, the tokens will, or the amount will be shown under live stake. You will need to wait for a couple of epochs, the current one and the next one. So after the next epoch, your delegated tokens will now appear under active stake. Secondly, I just want to give you a quick introduction of what the topic will be in our next and hopefully a final segment of this tutorial to complete our tutorial on how to set up a Cardano stake pool. Okay, the next topic will be about KES, or our key evolving signature. All right, in our stake pool, we need to renew our KES every 90 days in order for our stake pool to remain active. All right, so in the next tutorial, I will discuss to you the basics of KES and then on how to renew the KES and regenerate our node certificate. All right, so that's it, guys. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you on our next and final video tutorial about setting up Cardano stake pool on Windows platform. Bye-bye.